Today I am going to discuss a new topic, apoptosis. So we start with the history of apoptosis and necrosis and programmed cell death. These are two types of cell deaths happening in a living body. These were first described in 1964, between the period 1964 and 66. And in 1971, the term apoptosis was coined for the programmed cell death. Followed by, in 1977, the study of these death genes, the apoptotic genes, was done in Caenorhabditis elegans. Then in 1980-82 period, DNA ladder was absorbed because as part of the or during the apoptosis process, DNA will break down, and when we are separating the DNA using electrophoresis, we are getting a ladder pattern. That pattern was observed in between 1980 and 82, and also the proteases associated with the apoptosis. One of the proteases, cysteine-dependent aspartate-directed protease CED3, was identified during that period. Later, a number of other proteases were also identified. We will be discussing some of them in this topic. During 1991, some of the apoptotic genes were identified, including BCL2, FAS, APO1 and P53, and also the gene CED3, that is this cysteine-dependent aspartate-directed protease protein. The gene for that protein was sequenced. So this is a early history of apoptosis. As I said before, there are two types of cell deaths happening in a living body, that is necrosis and apoptosis. So necrosis is a harmful process happening in the body, whereas apoptosis is useful. It is a programmed cell death. In many cases, it is genetically determined, predetermined cell death pattern or process. So these two are quite different from each other. So in necrosis, it is a harmful process. It happens in contiguous cells, in continuous, a long stretch of cell. It will be happening, and that is damages in the body. Whereas apoptosis can happen in a single cell, and at the same, it can happen in a group of cells depending upon the situation. And necrosis, ATP is not a necessity. So low ATP is okay. Whereas in apoptosis, it requires ATP for the complete process to complete without harming without moving it to necrosis. So that is another difference. And also in necrosis, karyolysis, that is the dissolution of the nucleus happens. Pycnosis, the condensation of the chromatin, that is the irreversible condensation. You know that during cell division, the chromatin condenses and form chromosome. This condensation is different from that. Here, this is irreversible condensation, and also karyorrhexis, that is fragmentation of nucleus. All this happens in necrosis, whereas in apoptosis, the karyolysis is not happening. There is no dissolution of nucleus, but pycnosis, there is condensation of chromatin, and karyorrhexis, the fragmentation of nucleus, happens in apoptosis. The necrosis, the cell swells. So this is a normal cell, and this is a necrotic cell, and the cell swells and it becomes larger in size, whereas in apoptosis, the cell condenses, it becomes smaller. And also in a necrosis, there is a breakdown of plasma membrane. So when the plasma membrane is broken down, what will happen? The cytoplasm will leak out into the surrounding interstitial space, and that will lead to inflammation. Whereas in apoptosis, there is no breakdown of plasma membrane. The plasma membrane remains intact. As a result, there is no leakage of cytoplasm, and cytoplasm remains inside the cell. So there is no inflammatory reaction in apoptosis. So this is cell lysing, because this plasma membrane breaks, eliciting inflammatory reaction. The cytoplasm goes into the interstitial space and it induces inflammation, whereas in apoptosis, cell is phagocytosed, no leakage of cytoplasm. So the apoptotic cell towards the latter stage of the apoptosis, that will be engulfed by four sites. So there is no inflammatory reaction. As I said before, in DNA fragmentation occurs in both cases, but in necrosis, DNA fragmentation is random. There is no necessity for DNA fragmentation. And if you are running an electrophoresis gel using a DNA from necrotic cell, you will get a smear. Whereas in the case of apoptosis, DNA fragmentation happens. There are different types of fragments will be formed, different sizes of fragments will be formed. And if you are running a gel, you will get these fragments separated. It's a ladder-like appearance, a DNA ladder. This is a characteristic feature of apoptosis. So if you are separating and the DNA using a electrophoregram, you will get a DNA ladder-like appearance. That is a character of apoptosis. So it is apoptosis is a distinctive and important mode of programmed cell death. So it's fully programmed from the starting point to the end, and involves genetically determined elimination of cells. In most cases, it is genetically determined in normal cases. In the growth, when you are aging, some of your cells, or even during the younger stage, after a certain period of time, each of the body cells will die by apoptosis. So it is genetically determined. Or if you are treating cancer, the cancer cell will undergo apoptosis. So there is no genetic predetermination. There are other forms of programmed cell death also. We are not discussing that here. Apoptosis occurs normally during development and aging, as I said. During development, the finger development in humans, the tadpole metamorphosed into frog, all those processes involve apoptosis. They remove unwanted cells during that process. It's a homeostatic mechanism to maintain the cell population. You know that each organism, each individual has a particular size. To maintain the size, because many cells must keep dividing. So if it keeps on dividing, the number of cells keep increasing and the size of the body will also be increasing, like in plants. As they grow, their size will also grow. But in the case of animals, after a certain age, there will not be any growth of the body, increase in size of the body. So that is decided by apoptosis. That is, the cell number is made intact, and also the shape of each and every organ. That is also maintained by the genetically programmed apoptosis. And also occurs as a defense mechanism, such as immune reaction. It can induce apoptosis, or when cells are damaged during diseases, kind of like a viral infection, those infected cells will be killed by apoptosis. So that is also a defense mechanism. So aging, metamorphosis, and defense. And what are the stimuli leading to apoptosis? As I said before, both physiological, normal, and pathological stimuli can lead to apoptosis. Physiological means growth stimuli, stimuli of metamorphosis that can induce apoptosis. Whereas pathological, a cell is infected by virus or bacteria, so that cell will be killed by apoptosis. Or cell is damaged, that will be killed by apoptosis. So that is pathological. And the same stimuli cannot kill different types of cells. That is most important, because the stimuli vary from place to place in our body, or part to part in our body, and same stimuli cannot induce apoptosis. For example, irradiation of cancer cells. So you are inducing apoptosis in cancer cells, and you are using chemotherapy. That chemicals will only kill the cancer cells. Then certain hormones induce death in some, apoptotic death in some cells, like thymocytes are killed by hormones, corticosteroid hormones. Whereas the same hormone acts as a stimulant in other cells, or it will not induce apoptosis in other cells. So that is same chemical cannot induce apoptosis in different types of cells. And certain cells express certain receptors like FAST receptors, TNF, tumor necrosis factor receptors. In those receptors, when a ligand binds to these receptors, that will induce apoptosis. In the case of FAS, it is FAS ligand. In the case of TNF receptor, TNFR, it is TNF, tuber necrosis factor, act as the receptor and induce apoptosis, and it can cause protein cross-linking. Protein cross-linking can also cause apoptosis. And as I said before, certain cells are default death pathway. So they are born, they have an inherent death pathway in them. But this apoptosis is stopped or blocked by certain factors like growth hormones or growth factor that block the apoptosis. If we remove those growth hormone or growth factor, that cell will undergo apoptosis. So that is the case of these cells with predefined death pathway. And it is a coordinated process, so it starts from one point, go through a cascade of reactions and reaches the end stage. It's a programmed process. And also it is energy dependent. It needs ATP. For example, when a cell starts apoptotic process and halfway ATP is depleted, what happens? Because ATP is needed for cell death by apoptosis. And now there is a depletion of ATP. As a result, what will happen is the apoptotic process will stop and the cells will die by necrosis. So it is a complex cascade. It's a complex process. It involves a number of step-by-step successive process that link the initiating stimuli. So it starts with the stimuli and end by a final demise, final death of the cell. So it's a continuous complex process. And at any stage, if there is a depletion of ATP, the apoptosis will stop and the cell will die by necrosis. So, what happens during apoptosis? Produces apoptosis while it is happening. During the process, apoptotic bodies are formed. As I said before, there is no leakage of cytoplasm. Here what happens is, the cell breaks into smaller pieces and each piece is contained within a plasma membrane. As a result, cytoplasm will not go out. And each of these pieces, apoptotic body, will contain cytoplasm and cellular organelles. Sometimes there can be a piece of nucleus. It is not necessary. So apoptotic bodies are formed. And once these bodies are formed, what happens is phagocytes come and engulf them and destroy them. So as a result, there is no leakage of cytoplasm or cellular component into the surrounding interstitial space, and there is no inflammation. So cell contents do not spill out into the surrounding cells, and there is no damage caused to other cells. Only that apoptotic cells is affected. And we believed in the past, that apoptosis, once it is started, it cannot be stopped. Now there are changes in that. We will discuss that later. Then, during the early apoptosis, what happens is cells shrink. Is that in the initial stage, the cell size will be decreasing. What will happen when the cell is shrinking? Only the water loose, liquid part is lost. The water is lost. As a result, all the solid particles or the solutes are there. So it is a condensed cytoplasm, and the cell size is decreasing. So the volume is decreased. As a result, what will happen? The cell organelles will also be highly concentrated. So cells are smaller in size. Cytoplasm is dense, concentrated cytoplasm, and the organelles are more tightly packed. The cell size becomes smaller. So the solutes or the cell organelle are not lost. So all they remain within the short period of smaller space. So pycnosis happens, that is irreversible condensation of chromatin, and this is the most characteristic feature of apoptosis. As a result, the cell appears round or oval mass with dark eosinophilic cytoplasm, the condensed dense cytoplasm, purple nuclear chromatin fragments. The chromatin condensed, it is purple in color and within the nucleus. and there is mitochondrial leakage. That is another pathway that can induce apoptosis. And there is no breakdown of plasma membrane as in necrosis. But here, the blubbing of plasma membrane occurs. The projections, the cell becoming smaller, but still at certain areas, the plasma membrane projects out. This is because normally the shape of the cell is maintained by cytoskeleton. So many protein filaments running across the cell that keep the shape of the cell. But during apoptosis, those cytoskeletal structure will be broken down. Damaged because of the protein interlinking. This damaged cytoskeleton, defective cytoskeleton, due to that the plasma membrane will blub, project outside, it will become looser. There is no pushing in force. So followed by karyopexis. What happens is the nucleus gets into fragments. Separation of cell fragments in apoptotic bodies, the process is called budding. So it is budding off from the cell, pinching off, budding off from the cell. The process is called budding. The apoptotic bodies, as I said before, it is containing cytoplasm with tightly packed organelles, with or without nuclear fragments, and it is surrounded by plasma membrane. That is apoptotic body. And here the integrity of organelles are maintained, except there is a possibility of mitochondrial leakage, and this is enclosed within the intact plasma membrane. So the apoptotic bodies are phagocytosed by phagocytes or macrophages, parenchymal cells or neoplastic cells, and within these phagocytes or these parenchymal cells or neoplastic cell, they will be degraded by phagolysosome. Lysosomes in these cells will degrade this. And the macrophages that engulf and digest apoptotic bodies are called tingible body macrophages. So this is a tingible body macrophage. The macrophage, apoptotic body, it engulfed into this. Now it is called tingible body macrophage. So as I said before, there is no inflammation associated with apoptosis, nor with the removal of apoptotic cell, because do not release their cellular constituents into surrounding interstitial tissue, because there is no breakage of plasma membrane. And also, once these apoptotic bodies are formed, they are quickly phagocytosed by surrounding cells, the surrounding macrophages. Thus, prevent the secondary necrotic processes. And also, these engulfing cells, they don't produce inflammatory cytokines or anti-inflammatory cytokines. That also prevent inflammation. Then, sometimes, as I said before, the apoptosis is started, and some changes, the process will be changed into necrosis. And we have seen one condition, because less amount of ATP. Second is decrease in the availability of caspases. These caspases initiate and execute apoptosis. So if they are absent, the apoptosis cannot proceed, and it will turn into necrosis. And intracellular ATP depletion, that also leads to necrosis. And cell death, it is either by apoptosis or necrosis, and it is decided by different factors such as the nature of the cell death signal. If there is a damage, physical damage, it might be necrosis, with sudden death, so that will be necrosis only, there is no apoptosis. But if you are using a chemotherapeutic chemical to kill cancer cell, so it will kill the cell by apoptosis. And the tissue type, where the apoptosis cell death is happening, the developmental stages of the tissue, and also the physiological milieu, where it is damaged, disease, or physiological development, etc. So apoptosis happens in two pathways. Actually, there are three pathways. The third one I will discuss later. The basic ones are intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway. So the name itself tells you what it is. Intrinsic pathway, the cause is within the cell itself, the stress inside the cell. Extrinsic pathway, the external stimuli cause the death. So cell kills itself due to the internal stress. Here, cell kills itself due to external stimuli. So that is the difference between the stimulus. Then the pathway also slightly different. Here, the intrinsic pathway, mitochondrial pathway is involved, whereas in the extrinsic, death receptor pathway is involved. The stimuli comes, the ligands come, it binds to a death receptor on the plasma membrane that leads to the extrinsic apoptosis, and it involves death receptor pathway. But in both cases, these both pathways are linked, and also molecules in one pathway can influence the other. So they are not fully independent pathways. They are quite linked, and the molecules, the same molecules can take part in both pathways. So the T-cell mediated pathway, which is an extrinsic pathway, involves T-cell mediated cytotoxicity and perforin granzyme dependently. Perforin is a protein, granzyme is an involved, enzyme involved, the protease enzyme. So that is involved in the T-cell. I will show you the details later. It induces apoptosis via either granzyme B or granzyme A, two types of enzyme, A or B, cysteine protease enzymes. All the three pathways of apoptosis converge on the same terminal execution pathway. So apoptosis started, it goes through two pathways. When it comes to the end, it's only single end. The end process is, the end terminal process is same. The execution will be same. The involvement of execution proteases. This pathway is initiated by the cleavage of caspase 3. So this is one of the execution caspase. It is normally present in the cell as a pro-caspase 3. It is not active. So that is cleaved and active caspase 3 is released. And that release causes this execution pathway. And it causes DNA fragmentation. The DNA will be broken down into smaller pieces, and we have seen that if you run an electrophoretic gel using the DNA from an apoptotic cell, she will give you different bands in the appearance of a ladder. So DNA fragmentation, the cytoskeleton will break down. You have seen that. Because of that, there is a plasma membrane blooding and cross-linking of proteins. The proteins cross-link. As a result, they lose their function, and that can lead to apoptosis because cells cannot maintain or cause certain metabolic reactions to happen. As a result, the cell will die. Then formation of apoptotic bodies. All these are involved in the execution protease pathway. Once the execution has happened, all these involved. Uptake of phagocytic cell by phagocytes. And in the granzyme A pathway, it activates a parallel caspase independent cell death pathway. So in the case of granzyme A, it has a parallel pathway which is caspase independent, and it is via single strand DNA damage. So it damages the DNA and lead to death. There is no involvement of caspase. So that is the last pathway. Granzyme A pathway is a parallel pathway not involving caspase. So this is a summary of these pathways. Here, extrinsic pathway, the ligand, death ligand, it can be fast ligand or TNF, tumor necrosis factor. It come and bind with the receptor. If it is a fast ligand, it will bind with fast receptor. If it is a TNF, tumor necrosis factor, it will bind with TNF receptor. So once this bound with the receptor, the adapter protein will come in contact with the receptor. So it recruits adapter protein. The adapter protein in chain forms, then disc formation happens, and the caspase 8 is activated. So in the extensive pathway, the caspase, the activated is caspase 8, and this activation activates caspase 3, which is the execution caspase. This is the initiation caspase. This is execution, which executes the process. This will start the process, the caspase 8. In the intrinsic pathway, so the stimulus, the stress is inside because of radiation, external radiation, gamma radiation. If you are irradiating the cancer cells with the gamma rays, or toxins, somehow the toxin enters the body, it causes stress inside the cell, or hypoxia. So that induces stress inside the cell and the pathway is initiated. So the mitochondrial change happens. There is a leakage of mitochondria, and that will lead to the formation of apoptosomes. Then this will activate caspase 9, another caspase, initiation caspase, which will in turn activate caspase 3, the activation caspase. Then third pathway, the perforin granzyme pathway. So it is involved, generally happens in the apoptosis induced by cytotoxic T cells. So they come and bind with perforin protein. As a result, two of these pathways are activated, granzyme B and granzyme E. Granzyme B pathway is similar to the other two. The granzyme B activation activates caspase 10, which is an initiator caspase, which activates the caspase 3 execution caspase. Or granzyme B itself can activate caspase 3. But in the case of granzyme A pathway, as I said before, there is no involvement of caspase. The endoplasmic reticulum complex, set complex is involved. That causes DNA cleavage. When the DNA is broken down, cellular process cannot happen because proteins cannot be synthesized and the cells will die. And the activation of caspase activates endonucleases that breaks down DNA, and protease activation that breaks down proteins. As a result, death will happen, and all the cytomorphological changes, the blubbing and the condensation of chromatin, nuclear fragmentation, and the apoptotic bodies are formed. These apoptotic bodies are phagocytosed by phagocytes, and the apoptosis is completed. So this is a further description of the extensive pathway initiated by death receptors. Here, these receptors initiate this extensive pathway. So start with ligands come and binding with each of these receptors, and the receptors will come together, clustering or aggregation of receptor. And this cytoplasmic end of the tail of the receptor bind with adapter proteins. So this adapter protein recruit and activates caspase 8. Procaspase is activated into active caspase, and that active caspase induce or activate or triggers the downstream effector caspase such as caspase 3, and the cell is in the execution pathway. Activation of death receptors may also activate intrinsic pathway also, because they are related. So death receptors, TNF are family receptors, FAST receptors, that is CD95, and the ligands TNF. For this receptor, the ligand is TNF, tumor necrosis factor, and the CD95, which is the CD95 ligand or FAST ligand, it is expressed only in activated T cells. So this is the extensive pathway. So in short, both these pathways induce cell death by activating caspase. Extrinsic as well as intrinsic pathways activates caspase. The initiator caspase like caspase 8 and caspase 9 or caspase 10, and the execution caspase like caspase 3. Excessive apoptosis can lead to atrophy. The size will shrink. The old age, more apoptosis than cell division, so the body size shrink. Then insufficient apoptosis can lead to cancer formation. The body's size or particular tissue will enlarge in size. So it will lead to cancer. And some factors like fast receptors and gaspases promote apoptosis, whereas some members of the BCL2 family of protein inhibit apoptosis. So if the promoting factors are present, more apoptosis happen. If the suppressing factors like BCL2 family, some of the BCL2 proteins, if the promoting factors are there or suppressing factors are there, there is less apoptosis. It's a highly regulated, as I said before, controlled process, advantages during lifetime, during growth, aging, metamorphosis, development, everywhere apoptosis is there, it is needed. And in 2002, Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to Sidney Brenner for the work in apoptosis. Then, what makes the cell to commit suicide? Different stimuli, like withdrawal of positive signals. I said in certain cases, in certain cells, the apoptosis is predetermined, which is blocked by certain growth factors or growth hormones. For example, here, in the case of nerves, growth factors in neurons suppress the apoptosis process. Interleukin 2 will suppress apoptosis. Whereas, then negative signals, increased level of oxidants, oxidative stress induce apoptosis. When cell is exposed to pollution, there is oxidative stress. Excess glucose present in the body, oxidative stress. So that will induce apoptosis. And DNA damaged by oxidants, this oxidative stress, damaged DNA and that induces apoptosis. Then these are some of the death activities. TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha, lymphotoxin, fast ligand. All these different types of stimuli either suppress apoptosis or stimulate apoptosis. Then, before we believed that once apoptosis is started, it cannot be stopped. But now there are evidence that if the apoptotic stimuli is removed at the early stage, and if the stimuli is not that strong, with the mild stimuli, removed at the early stage can stop or prevent apoptosis. So, traditionally been considered as an irreversible process. Now we know that some of the apoptosis can be prevented. Many of the genes controlling apoptosis is known now. So by controlling those genes, we can control or we can stop or we can enhance apoptosis. And also we know the molecular mechanism. Once we know the molecular mechanism, we can control the mechanism. So caspase activation, for example, if you activate the caspase, it will commit cells to suicide. If caspase is suppressed, the apoptosis cannot happen. So if you are suppressing caspase 3 activation, apoptosis can be stopped. And the engulfing genes, which help the removal of apoptotic body by phagocytes, they serve a particular purpose in cell in apoptosis. If the engulfing genes are suppressed, apoptosis can be stopped. Blocking engulfment genes in C. elegans embryo enhance cell survival from weak pro-apoptotic signal. So the signal is weak, as I said before, and we are removing that signal. C. elegans, Synodrhabditis elegans embryos, there's the cells of God, embryos were saved from apoptosis by removing those signals. Partial loss of function of killer genes. The killer genes, the special genes which induce apoptosis. If you remove, if you partially block them or mutate them so that they are not functional, so it can also stop programmed apoptosis. Then, mutation of engulfment genes that also help to stop apoptosis, or it can help the cell survive. mutation in engulfment genes alone allow the survival and differentiation of some cells which are destined to be dead by apoptosis. And also the genes that immediate corpse removal can function to kill cells. So if those genes are there, that can also help to prevent apoptosis. So the engulfing cells act to ensure that the cells triggered to undergo apoptosis will complete apoptosis and they will be removed. If these cells are not there, it can also stop apoptosis. In vertebrates, macrophages promote the death of cells in some tissue. So if the macrophages are not there, that promotion is there and that cells are protected from apoptosis. Elimination of macrophages in the anterior chamber of the eye, rat eye, that help the survival of vascular endothelial cells from apoptosis. So that's an example of removal of macrophage, helping the cells to come out of apoptosis. Cells can be rescued from P53 induced apoptosis by removing apoptotic stimulus during early stage. So in some apoptosis, P53 is involved. In those apoptosis, and if you are removing the apoptotic stimuli at early stage, the cell will be protected because DNA repair will be activated. As a result, so in many cases apoptosis happens because of the damage to the DNA. Here, the removal of the signal help in the repair of P53. So removal of the stimulus helping in the DNA repair, which is involved in reversing the cell death pathway in some circumstances. So that process, the removal of stimulus, the significance of apoptosis. So why or what make the apoptosis significant? So in the normal physiology and development, in the developmental process, immune cell system maturation need apoptosis. Morphogenesis, the specific body structure formation is happening through apoptosis. Neural development, some of the neural cells will be removed by the synapse formation. We know that when we are born, the number of synapses in our body is far higher than what we have now. So some of them are removed by apoptosis. Many of the neural cells are removed by apoptosis. The excess apoptosis can lead to degenerative diseases. Apoptosis of beta cells can cause diabetes. Brain cells can lead to Parkinson's, etc. Then the apoptosis is deficient, what will happen? It can cause cancer or it can also cause autoimmunity. So the maintenance of body homeostasis can be attained through apoptosis. The other rules, it is in the development, as I said before. So in the early stage, our hand is something like a stem. The cells in between will be removed and the fingers, early stage is like that. The cells in between is removed by apoptosis and the fingers are separated. Then metamorphosis, charcoal is metamorphosed into frog. So the apoptotic process, it removes the tail while the development is happening. Regulation of cell number in tissues. Each tissue, heart is of particular shape and size. That is determined by apoptosis as well as the controlled division of the cells. Immune defense, cytotoxic T cell activity. T cell is activated, it kills the cells infected with viruses or bacteria or something like that by apoptosis. If it is by necrosis, it causes inflammation and trouble to the body. And the cancer is caused by less number of apoptosis. Autoimmunity is also by decreased apoptosis. When infectious diseases increases apoptosis. This is morphogenesis. Like a hand is like this, the unwanted cells undergo apoptosis and the fingers get separated. And here the cell selection, unwanted cells undergo apoptosis and only the required number of synapses will be formed during the nervous development. So immunity. It eliminates the cells which recognizes autoantigen. Those cells are removed. If they are not removed, autoimmunity will be there and autoimmune diseases will be the result. And organ size will be kept intact by removing the excess cells by apoptosis. Then tissue remodeling. This is a virgin mammary gland. The gland's number is less as well as the number of cells in those glands are less, because at that stage there is no milk production. So there is no need of large number of mammary glands. But when during late pregnancy and lactation, more mammary glands are formed, more cells, less apoptosis. So this is enlargement of and more milk production. But after the lactation period, when the lady is not pregnant, what happens? These unwanted glands are removed by apoptosis. So that is the involution. Then in male, when the testosterone amount is decreased, the prostate gland, the cells of the prostate glands will undergo apoptosis and the gland will shrink. So, neurodegeneration, as I said before, when there is more apoptosis in the nervous system, the thing is, in the nervous system, the neurons cannot divide. Only stem cells can replace damaged cells or deficiency in the cells. But the stem cell replacement in nervous system is quite inefficient. As a result, if the apoptosis is more, what happens is it leads to neurodegenerative diseases. And neuronal death can be caused by loss of proper connections, loss of proper growth factors. As I said before, growth factor is an important factor deciding whether a cell need to undergo apoptosis or not. Or damage, oxidative damage can also kill neuronal cells by apoptosis. So these sort of damages lead to diseases like Parkinson's, less number of neurons, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease or Huntington disease. So apoptosis eliminates damaged cells. If the damaged cells are not eliminated, what will happen? Mutations happen and they can lead to cancer. So apoptosis is important in removing damaged cells. Most cancer cells are defective apoptosis that causes cancer in many cases. So no death by apoptosis. As a result, the cancers will live longer and the tissue, the cells will increase in number and leads to cancer. So as I said before, high levels of anti-apoptotic proteins. So that proteins which suppress apoptosis, for example BCL2 protein. If there is more BCL2, the apoptosis will be suppressed. For example, in cancer, there is more BCL2 normally. As a result, cancer cells will not undergo apoptosis. But when we treat the cancer by chemotherapy or radiation, what will happen? The production of BCL2 will be suppressed and pro-apoptotic proteins like BAX will be increased. As a result, the cell will undergo apoptosis and the cancer cells will be removed. Some of the examples of apoptosis happening in a normal body or a disease condition. Formation of gap between the human fingers during the metamorphosis process. Loss of larval cells from the tail during the development of frogs. Destruction of T cells in the thymus is another example. Destruction of virus infected cells by apoptosis. Elimination of surplus cell during formation of synapses in brain. So as the person grows older and older from childhood, the number of neuron cells decreases. This is by elimination through apoptosis. Disintegration and slowing of endometrium. That's quite an important process in the life of a woman. So that also needs apoptosis. And DNA damage and destruction of cancer cells. When the DNA of a cell is damaged, that they need to be removed from the body. That removal should be by apoptosis, but if it is by necrosis, that can induce inflammatory reaction and that is not a favorable thing. So as a result, they will be removed by apoptosis. So in apoptosis, in short, apoptosis is a quite important process happening in our body. It is a properly controlled process and when it starts from one point and ends in another point, and there is a cascade of reactions leading from the stimulus to the execution. All these processes happening step by step, and suppression of any of these stages will reduce or stop apoptosis. And now we know that apoptosis can be stopped if we remove the apoptotic signal at the early stage of apoptotic process. And also we know the apoptotic genes and the molecular mechanism behind the apoptosis. As a result, now we can control, we can induce apoptosis in cancer cells and treat or kill the cancer cells and treat cancer. And also, if we want to protect certain cells, we can suppress apoptosis. So, because of the knowledge in molecular process as well as genes involved in this. So, by this topic is finishing. Thank you very much.